Hi, everyone, and welcome to the WIM podcast. Women in Influencer Marketing is a first-of-its-kind exclusive networking group made up of inspirational women. This podcast is where we explore influencer marketing and get real about women in business. Find us wherever you download podcasts, and of course, you can always find us at iamwim.com. That's iamwim.com. Hey guys, welcome back. I am very happy to be here with you guys today. No, I am not putting on a sexy voice for you. This is my unfortunate laryngitis voice. The good news is I'm not sick. I just sound like I'm sick. So I appreciate you bearing with me today. If you tune into this podcast regularly, you know that this isn't quite my normal voice. I had to cancel so many other podcast recordings because this is the best version of my voice that I've had in over a week. I have talked to other people. They're like, oh my God, I lost my voice a month ago, or I lost my voice. I'm like, is that? I've actually never really experienced this before. And for someone who's very reliant upon my voice for podcast, for just meetings with people, this has been crazy trying to navigate this. Anyways, that is the explanation of why I sound a little squeaky, but I'm super excited to be back here with you guys today. I pre-batched a bunch of our last episodes and then went on a little vacation with my family for spring break. So it's very, very nice to be back. We have a really cool episode today, very timely. We recorded, on the 21st of April, and we're getting it out just a few days later. If you're listening live, it's the 25th. So just within a few days, because there was some really interesting updates that were chatted about a ton in the community, both on Facebook, Slack, kind of all over, about Instagram's API access that was given to very specific influencer tech companies that allowed for things like this dedicated brand inbox on Instagram. So there were a lot of questions that I think you guys had on it, rightfully so. And I immediately reached out to Tim Sovay from CreatorIQ. I saw his name sort of quoted in a few of the pieces about it. And we had just recently met in Vegas earlier this year. We did a panel together. So he was super gracious enough to just come on very last minute. I so appreciated it. I want to get you guys the lowdown, the latest on what does that actually mean for you guys on a day to day, whether you're a talent manager, are you still going to be privy to these conversations? What's the future of what Instagram is building in terms of their creator marketplace? We talked even a little bit about TikTok as well. And you guys, CreatorIQ has been around for the longest time. They're honestly always been at the forefront of innovation in terms of scaling our influencer marketing work. And, they're direct partners and very privy to all the conversations with all the platforms. So you'll get a very cool inside peek to what they're planning and just this update in particular. With all that being said, before we jump into learning a little bit more about Tim, I wanted to also share that we have so many virtual and in-person events coming up. I gotta share a few of them with you. On the 25th of April, today, if you're tuning in and hopefully catch it in time at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have Content That Converts, which is going to be an incredible panel that I'm very excited about. All of these virtual events, though, if you don't happen to catch it live, replays are always available. Members get free tickets to our masterclasses, free access to our entire content library, including replays of events that you're just a little busy to catch live. And then a lot of our other events are, of course, are in person. So, for example, some of those, we have our LA experience that is queued up June 20th, guys. That is the date. Very, very specifically timed with VidCon, which I will be speaking at this year, you guys. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Hopefully I won't sound like this. But we timed it so that it's the day before VidCon starts. My hope is that you guys are already going to LA because VidCon's amazing and it brings together tens of thousands of people in the industry. And you'll come for one extra day because on June 20th is our LA Experience meetup. Our meetups are amazing. I'm not even going to mince words. They're so fun. They're like the most incredible opportunity to just like really get to know other women in the industry. And we keep it really fun. We always have gift bags. We have so many like with good food, drinks, snacks, and activities. So like it's such a good time. New York announced as well, July 27th. And we have other dates in other cities that we will be announcing soon. So those are in person. Our virtual ones like content that converts, writing social copy that converts. We have tons of talent manager meetups that are on the docket. It's all on our website. Oh, we have like a hiring event coming up. We have so many events that are on the calendar and adding more all the time. All you have to do is check out iamwim.com/events and you'll find out all that information. And the last request that I have before we learn a little bit more about Tim and hear our conversation with him today, if you're enjoying this topic or any other of the topics that we talk about on the show, I would love your feedback on that because like podcasting is tricky sometimes. If you're on social, you get like direct feedback and comments and things like that. Like I see that a number of people are listening to this show. You guys have to be proactive for me to know who it is exactly and to get any feedback. So I am desperate for feedback. I just want this show to be amazing for you guys. We've been at this for years. We're actually approaching 200 episodes, which honestly blows my mind. And I just want your feedback. So if you would be so kind, if this topic is one that like really resonates with you, or if there's other episodes, you're like, this was awesome, please do more or do less, whatever you want. I really want to hear from you. The way that would be ideal, leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, super easy to do that, of course. Tell me like, this is a topic I want. This topic was great. Do more, do different, whatever it is. Or if you're listening to the show, just leave a review and say the same thing. But that feedback, guys, I would friggin' adore it. I would really appreciate it. So with all that being said, I am excited to introduce you to Tim Sovay from CreatorIQ. So a little bit about him. Tim currently serves as the Chief Business Development and Partnerships Officer at CreatorIQ, which is the leading software platform for global brands and agencies to manage, to measure, and to scale their influencer marketing programs. Previously, he served in senior roles at The Audience, at Edelman, the Walt Disney Company, and Summit Entertainment. He has over 15 years of experience at the forefront of innovation across digital and social media marketing, and his work has received recognition in the industry by Cannes Lions, 4A's, Webby Awards, the MarTech Awards, and the Influencer Marketing Awards. So we will link his LinkedIn and ways for you to get in touch with him as well in the show notes, of course. But without further ado, you guys, I'm super excited for you to meet Tim. He's good people. You're going to really enjoy this chat. So we have got on the show for you guys today, Tim. I am super excited to see you again because the last time we connected was it like 2-3 months ago in Vegas?
January.
January. Yeah. January of this year, 2023 in Vegas. We were on a stage, not in this virtual sort of format. And it was a fun time at a creator economy conference. So it's good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Always better to see you in person, but honored to be here today and really excited to talk about Instagram and some of the trends we're seeing on our side.
Totally. It's agreed. Like nothing really beats an in-person like interaction with someone. So it was cool to get to know you a little bit there. And it'll be nice to get to know you even more today. I appreciate you coming on the show today. It was a very last minute request, transparently. So I'm very appreciative that you took me up on it. You guys were sort of like in the news a little bit with some really cool updates in terms of, I mean, a ton of work, but specifically some cool like Instagram, like API access and like new features and stuff, which we'll get into in a little bit. That was sort of like the impetus of why I wanted to have you on. But before we get into all of that, like we definitely heard a bit about you on paper in the intro to this podcast, but I think it's way more interesting personally to learn a little bit more about you as a human. Like, I'd love to hear in your own words, like, where'd you grow up? Like, tell us about Tim as like a younger guy and how you got to where you are today. I want to hear that story.
All right. So going back in the way back machine. So I grew up in San Diego, went to UCLA, spent 4 years at UCLA, and then spent the next about 17 or 18 in Los Angeles. I actually started my career in feature film marketing. So I was lucky enough to work at movie studios. So think Walt Disney Studios, where I got to work on movies like Pirates of the Caribbean series and Pixar movies like Up and Ratatouille and Wally and movies like National Treasure. Then before heading over to Summit Entertainment, where I worked on movies like Twilight and Red. And really what I saw in that time was this kind of crazy intersection of the growth of social and digital marketing. Yes, I launched MySpace campaigns. Yes, I launched Facebook campaigns when it was college only. So just been around the space for a really long time. But what I saw in that time, honestly, was the power of celebrity on social. And really, there was this idea that, yes, people loved the movie Twilight and the Twilight series, but they were obsessed with the actors and the talent. At the same time, you saw the rise of early days YouTube creators. So I started a influencer marketing company back in early 2011. So I've actually been in this space for more than 12 years, which is pretty crazy to say, but I've really bet my career on the importance of this category. And I often joke with colleagues or industry friends that I do feel like we spent the first 8, 9, 10 years trying to future sell creator marketing and the power that this industry had, just this promise of things to come, really seeing early days brands invest, but not ultimately get to that scale that we all hope for. And I feel like it's only the last 2 or 3 years that we've had the opportunity to, I guess, realize the potential of the space. So weirdly, we're still early days, 10, 11, 12 years into it. But when you see investments from platforms like Instagram and what we're going to talk about today, it's a really, really exciting time to be in the space.
100%. We've definitely talked about a bit on this show, even about the idea of like scaling influencer marketing, which is a whole conversation unto itself. I think it's really like admirable what you guys are looking to do and have achieved in a lot of ways in terms of that like scalability. And I also like, I mean, I also wonder if all aspects of relationships can truly be scaled. So I think it's like a pick and choose scenario, like choose your own adventure. But there certainly are a lot of ways that it can be. And for those ways, as someone might like myself who's obsessed with like automations and just scaling in general. Like, I think that it's a really interesting convo. I love your story. I think it's really fascinating. I didn't know some of that. So I'm really extra glad that I asked about it today so we can all learn together. I'd love to dig into a little bit about this like recent news that came out, which was very cool to hear that basically brands can now reach creators directly on Instagram through a dedicated channel, which didn't exist prior. Sure, there are some people who follow some of the like, reverse engineers who, preview like things to come with Instagram. I love some of those accounts, but this wasn't on my radar. So it was very exciting and surprising to hear and got a lot of chatter within the WIM community. And of course, Creator IQ is like a partner with Instagram on this. So I hear that you don't need to like even switch platforms and it sort of makes it streamlined. My first question to you is, could you just sort of walk us through and explain like exactly how this all works as a Creator IQ customer?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I think the real benefit to a platform like Creator IQ is that when we look across our customers, and today we work with about called 1,000 really amazing brands and their agencies who are looking to provide better visibility, better measurement, better scale, to use your word, on their influencer marketing campaigns. And when we talk about scale, our top customers are now working with hundreds of thousands of creators on an annual basis globally. That's just insane to me. I didn't think those numbers are possible, but we are truly seeing scale. So that's one side of it. The other really exciting thing is you're seeing these investments by the social platforms, whether it be a creator focused by Instagram and YouTube being the OG of investing in creators for over a decade now, to the growth of TikTok. But what's important to know is that Instagram is still the number one platform for influencer marketing by our customers. Actually, 9 out of 10 campaigns on our platform in 2022 included Instagram as a platform. So it doesn't mean it was Instagram only. Yeah, actually, there's actually most are multi-platform in general, but 9 out of 10. So we looked at 40,000 campaigns and 9 out of 10 included Instagram. So when Instagram launches a new product, a new API, we certainly listen and we're really excited to be their partner on this, but our customers really care. So just a little background on the Instagram creator marketplace. So the marketplace launched, I think it was late last summer, sometime in kind of summer 2022, to a really small alpha. And what, select number of brands, select number of creators, it's really just through the front door of Instagram. But the goal, like other platforms, is to reduce the friction and get better deal flow and monetization for creators directly through brands and creators partnering, something that we all do all day long, right? But when the platforms build a product, they typically test without an API first. Once they're really confident with it, they will launch an API to really, again, using the same word, help the product scale. And so what the Instagram Creator Marketplace API allows us to do is pull all the same benefits that you get walking through the front door of the marketplace on Instagram for our customers, right? And so fundamentally, breaking that down, what it means is that you can now direct message creators into a priority inbox in their DMs directly from CreatorIQ. And you can message back and forth, see that those messages inside CreatorIQ, whether that be asking someone if they want to join a campaign, approve content, all different functionality. And again, you can do that alongside the work you're doing in that given campaign for TikTok, for YouTube, for Twitch, whatever other platforms you're working on. And why this is really important is, one, that I mentioned that Instagram is still a hugely critical part of the ecosystem, but we also see direct messages being that first kind of point of contact for many brands and many creators. So it may eventually move to email or other formats, but oftentimes brand managers, campaign managers are really knocking on the front door directly through DMs. And so that means that these DMs are now separated from all the other fan and follower engagement and commenting and everything in a priority inbox. So again, it should increase deal flow, should increase opportunities for creators, and hopefully streamline that communication for brands. The other benefit is we are pulling all of the creators from the creator marketplace directly into CreatorIQ. So now you will see in CreatorIQ a little logo or an icon, whether it be in our discovery solution or in our customers' CRMs. There's a symbol that lets them know that this creator is in fact part of the Instagram creator marketplace, which again, that means they're Instagram approved, if you will. So there's some brand safety measures and some confidence you can have working with them. And in the future, we hope to gain additional insights around those creators with the direct partnership that we have. A little bit of a tease of what we hope to do in the future.
Hey, you. Thanks for listening to this episode. This show is sponsored by Women in Influencer Marketing, the best online community for the creator economy. You'll meet fellow influencer marketers, brands, and talent managers to talk shop, get hired, and even find a mentor. When you join, don't forget to check out all of our incredible resources. We also have dozens of masterclasses from the top voices at TikTok, YouTube, award-winning agencies, and women who are paving the way for us all. If you want a chance to network with a who's who in influencer marketing, just check out what it takes to join the membership collective. Visit iamwim.com/join today. That's iamwim.com/join. And I'll see you around the community. I appreciate it. We all love a good tease. So, like, thank you for more insight, like of what to expect and what this will eventually roll out into being. Like, we love a good tease. So, thank you. It's super interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong, it sort of sounds like the creator marketplace generally is a place to sort of like filter through like the best of the best, like the people who are really professionalized their influence and they're part of that program. It sounds like there's some guardrails in place in terms of, or like criteria that get them into that. And then it unlocks business tools and features, which I mean, that sounds great, right? Because there are so many creators out there. I saw a very interesting stat somewhat recently where I want to say it's like less than maybe 2% of people who consider themselves creators are actually making meaningful money from it. There's such a wide breadth of people who consider themselves creators, small amount, who are the ones maybe who are managed, the ones who are, making the money that we aspire to, like maybe 500,000 or more, six figures at least or more, right? So that's great to just be able to arm creators with tools that they need to get to that point if that's what they aspire to do. And then specifically the idea of like having a segmented inbox. Sure, some of our audience like listening today are creators. And so it's cool for them to hear that. Majority of our audience, though, are people on the brand side, managers too. And I know that they have a lot of questions on like, how does this affect their like day to day? So let's start with just like talent managers. So, like we said, we're talking about the marketplace, probably the majority of it, perhaps being unmanaged talent, maybe. Is there a use case for managers, though? Perhaps yes, perhaps no, with this like specific announcement? Like, is there anything that managers you think should know or a way that they could utilize these tools?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, before I address that, I promise I'll come back to managers. But you made such a good point in your summary. At the end of the day, it's funny for me to say this. We're a B2B software company through and through, right? We are selling SaaS software and pretty fantastic solution to large brands and agencies to help them figure out the business side of this industry. But we have never lost sight, even as a software company, that creators are at the center of this ecosystem. If we are not developing tools for brands, if we're not partnering with the social platforms via, data partnerships or APIs on down the line that benefit the creator, we're never going to win. If there's not a sustainable industry for creators, sustainable income, the ability for them to invest in their communities, invest in their content, pay them on time or in a timely manner, everything kind of falls apart, right? And at the end of the day, we as brands, and it used to be in the brand world, really need to think about creators first and that symbiotic relationship. Kaylee, just why social platforms really need to think about creators and the tools that they are building, because creators drive really important stats for them, right? Social platforms care about time spent on the platform. Creator content is the most consumed type of content. They care about engagement of that content and the virality that comes with it. Creator content is the most engaging content on the platform. So at the end of the day, we all kind of circle around creators and can't lose sight of how important they are. They are the focal point of this entire ecosystem. But back to your point around talent managers. So there are all different shapes, sizes, types of deals that happen in the industry. If you're fortunate enough to have a manager, oftentimes that engagement may start with an email, or a creator receives a direct message from top brand like a Nike. Maybe they pass that opportunity on to their manager. There's also things like performance or affiliate type engagements where this platform or this solution right now via the marketplace doesn't support affiliate yet, right? This is traditional kind of brand plus creator kind of quote unquote hashtag ad type campaigns. So I think to answer your question, early days, I know that we're thinking a lot about this and how to expand use cases. And or working with our friends over at Instagram to think through expanded use cases. But there's still going to be thousands and thousands of engagements and campaigns and relationships that happen outside of the API. The hope is that this is, I'll use a baseball reference, like the first inning of a 9 inning game, right? We're just getting started. And you've seen what other platforms have done, like TikTok, where they actually announced a major portal as part of their marketplace. So I believe a creator can have someone attached to that profile to help them see the deal, sift through the deals. So who knows? Don't have those details on the Instagram side, but again, everyone's focus is to reduce that friction between brands and creators and hopefully increase deal flow, increase content output, and increase revenue and monetization for creators.
And I'd love to hear from you. Like, I assume that you're sort of like privy to a lot of the conversations, just generally about like the direction of where all of these tools are going in, whether it's on like the platform specific side or the tool side. And as a former talent manager myself, I had a front row seat into the mess that currently exists or did years ago, especially, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many variables, so many moving parts. And like, we're all trying to like amplify the work that we're doing, but we need the tools to be able to do that because it's just impossible to organize yourself and professionalize it otherwise. So I'm curious, like, if you had any like predictions, right, of like what additional tools or features you think might be on the horizon, what conversations are you privy to that you might be able to share with us?
Sleeve the fit on anything that is directly with the social platforms. Obviously, we want to keep those relationships strong. But here's what I'll tell you that there's such an opportunity, and maybe it feels like a massive opportunity and maybe a little overwhelming at the same time. But as I started off the conversation, I don't think there's a more exciting time to be in the category. And hopefully, companies like CreatorIQ and our peers and others in the space are helping solve for this. But I think what's so exciting is the focus on creator content has never been higher. And maybe this is an internal term, but to help kind of paint that picture, what we talk a lot about at our company is this, and with our customers, is this shift from influencer marketing to creator led marketing. And, again, having been in the space for 12 years, influencer marketing oftentimes sat almost in its own silo. It wasn't measured alongside, or we didn't know how to measure it alongside other more mature channels like programmatic or digital video or even television, right? And really what we've seen this shift from is just kind of like generic relationship of I pay a creator to organically post about my brand, and that reel or YouTube video or TikTok gets X many views and engagements or impressions, and it stops there. We can use that asset in so many more different ways now. We know that creator led creative or content performs better than kind of generic brand content. We should be using this content for paid media amplification via Instagram Ads Manager, Spark Ads on TikTok. We have seen brands scale their creator affiliate networks into the tens of thousands with a massive ROI or return on spend for those programs. We're seeing ambassador programs really take off with creators of all shapes and sizes. A lot of this is being driven by the content graph on TikTok, or now the content graph on, say, for Instagram Reels, where your follower count doesn't matter as much as anymore. We're moving from a follower graph or a fan graph to a content graph. So you hear the success stories on Instagram and especially TikTok all the time of, hey, I had 200 followers yesterday. I have 2 million views on this video, and I've gone from 200 followers to 10,000, 30,000, 50,000. And so you don't have to be a mega star to be able to kind of reach these goals or opportunities. But what's really, really exciting is that what we're seeing it move from a silo almost to an overlay of how can I utilize this content across all my other marketing streams. I think what it does is, yes, it puts a bigger lens on the industry, but those brands who can really understand it, bring that subject matter expertise in house, it unlocks a huge amount of opportunity for them. And more than ever, we're seeing increasing budgets, increasing resources internally, externally with partners, which makes it a really exciting time.
It's a super exciting time. I want to push you more from pleading the fifth, but I won't. But I want to hear all the juicy details. So if you could like promise me that when things are like released, that you will come back and you will share them once they're out into the world, I would appreciate it.
100%. And what I will say, and I've talked a little bit or teased a little bit about some of the things that we're thinking about. We also understand the kind of pain, the frustration that all of us feel day to day in the trenches, really trying to heal our teams, fight for budgets, provide better visibility. What's really, really exciting, and you look across the board, as I think I mentioned earlier, it's a really good sign when the social platforms are making such massive investments into creator, right? When you see things even like Spark ads, which I mentioned on TikTok, and just the amount of focus there, or Meta just released branded content ads, essentially replacing ad permissioning or what was known as whitelisting a long time ago. That means they're building creator specific ad products. That means they're investing their engineering resources, product resources, partnership resources in these areas. And that's nothing to sneeze at, these times when there's really increased pressure to show ROI on that side of the house too. So increased investment by the social platforms is a really good sign for all of us in the industry.
I agree. And I love that assessment. I think it's really exciting of a place to be. And in that spirit, beyond Instagram, you talked about like TikTok and, some of the things that they had recently launched, like basically their own marketplace. And, they're not part of the same company. Sure, Facebook and Instagram are, but TikTok is its own separate beast. Is there anything that you've heard from your customers at Creator IQ that they're particularly excited about when it comes to advancements at TikTok?
Yeah, great question. So I talked about how Instagram is still really the largest player in the space. Again, included in 9 out of 10 campaigns in 2022 on CreatorIQ across all of our customers. The fastest growing platform, though, is TikTok. We saw an almost 300% increase in TikTok content between 2021 and 2022. It had a long way to catch up. If I'm remembering correctly, the usage of that platform by our clients is doubling year over year. And it actually became the second most popular platform, again, behind Instagram, as far as being included in campaigns. Now, that's not looking at one video versus 10 TikToks in a campaign, but at least that platform is being included. We're seeing a ton of growth there, by far the fastest growing. I think the competitive advantage that they have is that they've been creator first from day one. Instead of retrofitting is the wrong word, but the size of Meta is so massive, there's competing priorities. TikTok was able to be creator first. They've a lot been nimble. They've had to play catch up, but we've seen a ton of advancements internally with TikTok. For example, we can now report on audience demographic data around an individual TikTok versus looking at just a channel. Why is that important? So we talked about the content graph earlier. The people who actually see an individual TikTok oftentimes can have very different demographics than say what a creator's following is. That's because of the For You page and how the algorithm is serving up content. But more than ever, it's really important to know who actually saw that piece of content before you make the decisions around your paid media strategy around that piece, working with that creator, what was the fit, all those things that we look at all day long. So that's really, really exciting that we get that granular level of data. Another one is we just launched, I think in the last quarter, the ability to split organic versus paid metrics. So that was something that wasn't available on TikTok until recently. We worked really closely with their teams on launching that. Most recently, we just launched what's called campaign links through the TikTok API. So that makes it really, really easy via links for brands and creators to connect through that marketplace and to be able to tag the branded content partnership that's happening. So a ton of advancements there. I do feel like every month we're like overwhelming launching new products, but hopefully they're all to the benefit of our customers. And they're really, really excited and anxious to get these types of things in place.
I mean, yes to all of those things. Yes, excited, anxious, eager, all of the things. If anyone listening today or watching on our YouTube is interested in getting like the most up-to-date information about what you guys are releasing, knowing that you're, partners to the biggest platforms and you guys are definitely at the forefront of this, where can they subscribe or how do they get updates in terms of like new feature releases from you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're a customer and listening, hopefully you're getting our customer emails or Pendo notices in the platform. If you're not a customer, please call. Hopefully I can change that as a shameless plug. No, but you can always go to creatoriq.com. We have a very robust blog and product announcements section. We also do have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, keep up to date on our LinkedIn. And all joking aside, I promise I won't sell. If you ever do have any questions about anything we spoke about today or just want to know more about the industry, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Tim Sovay on there. It should be pretty easy to track me down.
You're the only one, really? That's pretty good. Is that you don't, no one has to compete for attention. Tim, it's been such a pleasure having you on today. Hopefully I'll have my voice back the next time we
Sounds great.
connect and we can have more conversations just like this one. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And I hope this conversation was insightful. Creator IQ is amazing. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, we gotta have you back. Check out our website for more ways to get involved, including all the information you need about joining our collective. You can check out all the information at iamwim.com. Leave us a review, a rating, but the most important thing that we could ask you to do is to share this podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week.